I've called in before. It was a couple years ago, and that's relevant. But I wanted to ask you, how do we distinguish between political causes for violence and religious causes for violence?
I don't know. They're both bad. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
Well, take for instance like the debate between Sam Harris and Noam Chomsky.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about, and I have some definite opinions on this. There,
A definite unpopular opinion.
yeah. Well, no, it is tempting to be overly simplistic, and I think of people who who don't have a lot of experience with some of the geopolitical realities of a certain situation might say, oh well, it's just Islam that is causing these radical terrorists to go around and kill people. All it is just they look at the Quran. The Quran says "Die Yankee dog," and kill the heathens, and so they go out and do that. 45 years ago, when I was a little boy, a very little boy, I lived in Dubai. I lived in the Middle East. We went all through the Middle East. I interacted with Arabs and Muslims on their own turf, and if it had just been Islam making them kill everyone around, we would have seen the kind of terrorism that we saw with Al-Qaeda and now with ISIS directed towards Americans and Westerners back in the early 70s when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
We were seeing that whole thing. There is a political element to Al-Qaeda's terrorism and now to ISIS. Religion now is the tool that is being used by these organizations in these madrasas to recruit these useful idiots and young dopes to strap bombs onto themselves. They certainly do say the Allah will favor you with all the virgins thing. It's a selling point, but it's not the be-all and end-all. I think there's no just causal thing of Quran says kill, so we kill. It's rooted in a whole lot of horrible political realities that those people have had to endure, and it's not just like, for example, the Gaza Strip, where the Israelis have been making them live in just cardboard shacks out there in Gaza, and they're sick of it. They're having their homes seized and their land seized. But this was also a thing that was happening in Lebanon, for example. We used to go to Lebanon all the time, to Beirut, just before the revolution kicked in, and it was a gorgeous resort town right there on the on the Mediterranean, and there's lovely hotels, and you go skiing in the mountains and all of that. But my parents, because I was very small, my parents got to go out and see like some of these horrible little shanty towns that some people in the Arab community, the really poor Arabs were living in, and it was other Arabs keeping them in those conditions so that they could have the cheap labor and exploit them. And so
Right.
It's a massive smorgasbord, and I would have to say that when you see this kind of thing going on, it's never just one thing. It's a whole big, massive, ugly alphabet soup of causes. Sure, so in some cases you'll see religious fanaticism being the trigger, the thing that flips the switch on the bomb. Some days it will just be some wild ass fringe political thing, but causally it's never just going to be one thing. There's a whole mix of just horrors that at a certain point people just snap, And then they're easy to exploit, right? I mean, you can get like the imams going, oh, well, if you blow yourself out to bits, and that can kind of come as an ingredient to it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
definitely.
so talk to your off there, but
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. That was a really good answer, and
Yeah, I mean, any ideology that promotes harmful actions can be bad, and that goes for Islam exactly as much as it goes for like hyper patriotism in some cases.
Right.
Demanding that we, if somebody said that we should, kill all immigrants from a certain country, that would be terrible too.
Or like something like environmentalism is this perfectly sensible idea about protecting the earth so that we have a nice place to live, until the minute you start spiking trees.
Right.
Yeah.
So So right, I mean, the fanatics will pop up, and it's a. What can you? It is probably one of those. What can you do about it?
I think the lesson to take here is that you should be critical of everything that people tell you, and always be considering the reason why you're being asked to do a certain thing and what goal it will accomplish.
Yeah.
But I gotta go. But thank you for the thanks. Yeah. Thanks for that. Let me talk about that, because that was a question I kind of wish we'd taken on the show as opposed to some others, frankly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could call in another time.
Yeah, if you like, please do. Any old time. Please do just.
Yeah, absolutely. But that is what I appreciate about y'all's show. You know, you encourage people to think critically, and I mean, I've experienced people being lost in my life due to religion, and like a case of girls that I went to school with that were killed by their father because of like honor killing or whatever, and it's tragic. But I guess I'm just concerned about like the propaganda that comes out where, you know, Christians will be convinced of a certain thing about another religion and pursue violence against that. I'm concerned that there might be secular figureheads that might come out and say certain things like, we have a problem with Islam and we need to do this X, you know, whatever. I can hear myself echo.
That's why we need to, keep our critical thinking always on point. But we got to pack it up now because they're chasing us out. But thanks for calling, man.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.